This is the doctor of clinical psychology speaking to your unhealthy soul. This is the doctor of clinical psychology speaking to your unhealthy soul. One of the reasons so many Africans around the world are miserable and unhappy is because your life has no purpose. You might be a Kappa, you might be an Iota, but does your life have any purpose? You might be a Zeta, you might be a Delta. I love them Deltas, Lord have mercy. You might be an AKA, you might be a SG Row, but does your life have any purpose? You might be a Muslim praying 5 times a day, but does your life have any purpose? You might be a Bible-toting Christian going to church every Sunday, but does your life have any purpose? Stop confusing obligations with purpose. Purpose and obligation are 2 different things. Paying your bills is an obligation, but God did not birth you into this world for you to pay bills. Working is an obligation, and you might even like your job, but you were not birthed into this world to work. Do you understand me? Don't confuse obligation with purpose. You need a purpose. I want you to understand, and understand. Any man or woman who cares more about how they look on the outside than how they think on the inside is not somebody you need to be with. That is not a goddess, and that is not a god. That is not a goddess, and that is not a god. When I see these women on social media, no disrespect, but when I see a black woman spending more time taking pictures, every time I go to your page, it's nothing but pictures. All you do is take pictures of yourself all day long. In your 20s, maybe. Teenagers, of course. A 40-year-old woman, a 50-year-old woman, and her only contribution to black consciousness is her curves. And don't get me wrong, I love me some curves. I love me some curves. But if the only thing you have to offer, your whole social media is nothing but pictures of you, you are an underdeveloped soul. You are not on the path to goddessness. When you see a brother and all he want to talk about is lust, all he want to talk about is fat asses, all he want to talk about is car and his clothes and Gucci rags and Timberlands, if his whole conversation is about pulling up to the club and pulling up to the Queens, hanging out with the homies and smoking the weed, you're not on a path to godness, my brother. That's not the path. See, everybody want to be a god, but nobody wants to do the work to get there. Everybody wants to be a god, but nobody wants to do the work to get there. Everybody wants to be a god, but nobody wants to do the work to get there. See, some of us walk around the Hotep community, the woke community, the fake conscious community, and we say things like, we are all gods and goddesses. No, not quite. Not quite. We all there. But you must develop it. You must actualize that potential. You are not a god just by being born. You are not a goddess just by being born. You have to evolve yourself into that. There must be an evolution of consciousness for there to be a revolution in reality. The pursuit of materialism is a distraction from internal development. The pursuit of materialism is a distraction from internal development. You don't want to work on your inner self, so you're going to spend all your time working on your outer self. That's why one of the first things you want to know about a person, what role does the divine have in your life? I didn't say Christianity. That's a religion. Arab cultural product. European cultural product. I didn't say Islam. Okay? That's Arab cultural product. Okay? No disrespect to none of the religions. I respect them all. I respect them all. I read their holy books. There is some truth in it. You have to feed the soul like you feed the body. You have to feed the soul like you feed the body. 3 things got to be fed: your mind, your body, your soul. Now, when you read books, you're feeding the mind. When you study, you're feeding the mind. When you write, you're feeding the mind. When you think, you're feeding the mind. When you eat and exercise, you feed the body. But what about the soul? Some of you are miserable because your soul hasn't had any protein in 10 years. Some of you are miserable because your soul hasn't had any protein in 20 years. Some of you are miserable because your soul hasn't had any protein in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. You must feed the soul. And what does the soul love most? I'll tell you 3 meals that the soul loves. Let's talk about the first meal that the soul loves to eat: solitude. When is the last time you spent an hour by yourself without a phone, without a laptop, without a TV, without an iPad, without a book, without a toy, without a game, without a chessboard, without a woman from the Matrix? I don't care if you go to church every day. You can catch the Holy Ghost. You can go to the mosque and pray all night long. But until you have some solitude, my brothers and sisters, I don't care what religion you claim, until you have some solitude, you will never achieve peace or perspective. So the soul loves solitude. You know what else the soul loves? The soul loves meditation. The soul loves meditation. You can do sound meditation. You can do sight meditation. You can do chant meditation. But you better get some meditation in mind. When is the last time you took out the garbage in your mind? When is the last time you took out the trash in your mind? Some of you have never taken out the trash. And the only way you can take out the trash is with solitude and meditation. Solitude and meditation. So the soul loves solitude. The soul loves meditation. The soul loves prayer. The soul loves prayer. Yes. Yes. Prayer. Thanking God for what has been done for you and asking God to keep the blessings flowing. Thanking the Creator for what has been done for you and asking the Creator to continue to let the blessings flow into our life, brothers and sisters. You must have a relationship with the Most High. And that relationship should not be limited to Sunday prayer or Friday Juma. That relationship is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Talk to God, joke with God, write to God, think on God. You must have a relationship. The family that prays together stays together. The family that eats together stays together. Forgiveness is not forgetting. When you forgive, you do not forget. You simply release the negative energy that is attached to the memory. Let me say it again. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is releasing the negative energy that is attached to the memory. Forgive. Forgive your mother. Forgive your father. Forgive your brothers and sisters. Forgive your co-workers. I forgive all my haters. And y'all know I got more haters than anybody in the world. I think I got more haters than anybody in the world. I forgive them all. But do I forget? Do I forget? I do not forget. I forgive my haters, but I do not forget.